We have many men in this country, either in the private sector or government, who actually use their positions as managers or as bosses or as supervisors in companies to obtain sexual favors from female colleagues in the workplace. These things are happening, it's that people are not talking about it. When you talk about corruption, we often relate it to stealing money. We've seen Morara going around the country talking about Wizi Bila Kazi, that they're stealing money. But there is something else that these people are corruptly taking. They are taking advantage of women who are needing these jobs, who are applying for these jobs, or who already have these jobs. And these women are told that if you don't sleep with me, you will lose this job. And we need to define this as well as corruption, because that is exactly what it is. Why is it corruption? It is corruption because the job that they are promising you, or the job that they are threatening to take away from you, it is not them who created that job. That job was created by the government, or it was created by the company. But this manager, instead of going to the street to buy a prostitute with his own money, he is in the place of work threatening women, telling them that if you don't sleep with me. So the reward for sleeping with him is not even his own money. It is a job created by the company. And that is what we are calling corruption. Using your position of authority or power in a place of work to obtain sexual favors from women through promises and through threats. This thing is, and let me tell you, our society is very wicked, because our society blames the women. Our society tells the women, you are the ones who are prostitutes. You are the ones who are hoes. You are the ones who are selling yourselves. But just like the woman caught in adultery who was brought to Jesus, the men, they are never held accountable or responsible for their wrongdoings when it comes to sex. This is a whole thing that needs to be discussed. I have here with me an article that I have written on this topic. It is about 11 pages long. It's about this whole topic. Okay, if you want a soft copy, just pay me 100 bob, only 100 shillings. I'll send it to you by WhatsApp or by email. But if you don't want to pay the 100 bob, you can stick with me throughout this series or this very long episode, and I'm going to just read through it. Okay, hey, this series is not for children. This is adult conversation right here. Okay, but these things are happening in this country, and we need to talk about these types of corruption. Men who abuse their office, who abuse their positions of power and of authority to obtain sexual favors from women in the workplace by touching on the jobs that these women have, or the jobs that these women are applying for. Okay, so let me get into it. Gone are the days when older men would go into discos or nightclubs or social places to seek sexual encounters. Hey, you know, today there are clubs for younger people, you know, millennials, Gen Zs, you know, but the older men, there's clubs for the older men. And in those clubs, when you go there, you barely see women there. Today, older men's bars barely have women there. They are simply a place to watch news or football, you know, and, you know, see a game, you know, over a brown bottle of beer. And today, many older men in those workplaces, okay, they unjustly abuse their positions of authority to get sex from women. You know, they're satisfied at the workplace. They don't need to go and solicit it from bars, because at the place of work, they're getting it anyways. They threaten women with the loss of their jobs if they do not give in to sexual advances, or when interviewing new applicants, they promise to help them secure a job if they have sex with them. To such men, qualifications, skills, and aptitude for the job mean nothing. Only the ability to spread one's legs and do what you're told. That's the only value they have for women. An example is Marverick Aoko. Marverick gave a very devastating story, her own story, about how she was working for a certain prominent politician in this country during the pandemic.
You get opportunity and people tell you how brilliant you are. And that is a man from your community who had opportunity to build you and chose to use you.
Parliamentary toilets. Sasa hii inaingilia wapi? Is there...
I used to fuck Mbadi there. Opportunities ziko kwa hii serikali. Alafu mtu anakuambia ati kujia mshahara 20,000 hivi na unamanagia social media in the time of crisis. Alafu ati kuja kama hujavaa suruali. Tusi, you've never even listened to me. That is what Mbadi did for me, bwana. You wachoga. Imagine. Unadhani wana tusi huyu mtu kwa nini? That is it. That guy had an opportunity. Decided. Omera. I don't want to talk shit, but I can talk shit.
She'd been given a job to manage for him his social media accounts. And her salary for an entire month was 20,000 shillings. On the day she's being called to get her payment, to get paid, she is told, come without panties on. This is the testimony she gave. This is her own story. It's her alleged story, okay? She's told to come without panties on. This politician allegedly would take her to the toilets at parliament buildings to sleep with her before he gives her her salary. And because it's COVID and people are desperate and people are scared and people are, they take advantage of your need for a job. This is where we are as a people. This is where we are as a country. These things happen, it's that we don't talk about it. And if we do, we are blaming the women. But we're not looking at the corruption of these men who take the jobs. We're not looking at what these companies or this government is doing to make sure that people in authority, their managers, their HR, their supervisors are not taking advantage of people in these ways. We are simply too busy blaming the women. Hi. For men who do such things, this is what I'd like to say to you. You are the scum of the earth. You are the lowest of that. You are the scum and the trash of the earth if you do these things. Hey, a dead and rotten frog covered with mucus and vomit is more honorable and respectable than you. You have a penis, but you are not a man. A real man can obtain a woman's attention, without threatening her job. A real man, he can actually ensure a woman is safe. A real man ensures the woman is safe. But you are threatening the woman's job. A real man can obtain a woman's attention and affection and even get her phone number without threatening her job or promising hot air to desperate people who are desperate for jobs. The jobs that you are using to pay for your sex capades are not even jobs that you yourself created. These are jobs that were created by your boss. And you are an opportunist paying for your sex capades using your employer's things. How disgusting are you? You are lower than a solicitor. A solicitor who goes to the street to buy sex from a prostitute pays for it with his own money. But you are paying using your employer's resources from desperate people. Though you're a manager in a company, you're too broke to pay for a prostitute with your own money. And that's why you're using your employer's resources to score for yourself sex. You're even too ugly. That's why no woman looks at you twice. You refuse to hit the gym. You sweat like a pig. You breathe like a burst tire. You won't dye your white hairs or even shave them. You won't invest in a deodorant. And you have successfully nurtured a very big beer belly. And you wonder why no woman naturally wants you. As if that's not enough, ata hauna game. You don't know how to talk to a woman. You are disinterested in learning how to talk to women and how to get a woman to give you her phone number. You are disinterested in that knowledge. You cannot score a woman's attention or charm a woman into giving you her phone number. The only thing working for you in this life is your job. In all this, your laziness, you still want a beautiful woman. And in your horny desperation, instead of working on yourself to be an attractive man that a woman would want, you assume that money is all it takes to get a woman. But no woman sleeps with you except the ones that you pay, or the ones that you threatened with job termination or promised them hot air. You are indeed the scum of the earth. You might as well castrate yourself, because your manhood is no manhood at all. Without your job, you are nothing. Know that no decent human being can or even should ever respect a man like you. Let that sink in. If you take your employer's job opportunities or contracts that your employer has given and you're using it to threaten women, you are the scum of the earth. And I am tired of this culture of blaming the women. Women do these things out of desperation, out of kufika mwisho, out of you have no hope left in life. And we are busy claiming that these women are morally immoral, But we don't look at what was the man's responsibility in all this. Just like the woman caught in adultery was brought to Jesus by herself, so it is today. We stone these women, we throw stones at these women, we call them hoes, we call them cheap, we call them loose. But the entire system is rigged against these women. And this evilness is being perpetrated. And in this we are going to be exposing these men for what they are. This is who they are. In the next part, we're talking about consent. When a threat is hanging over your head, is it possible for you to consensually give sex, or were you raped?